Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the ISB podcast. I'm your host Sahil, flying solo today, but it's another exciting day at the Euros. If you've been enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. This is, of course, round 2 of the match days between Group D and E. We had some exciting matches, so let's get into it. Let's start off with the first one, which was Ukraine versus Slovakia. Slovakia obviously coming off the victory against Belgium, and Ukraine coming off the demolition loss to Romania. Starting off a big call by the Ukrainian coach. He decided to put in Trubin instead of Andre Lunin, who's the Real Madrid keeper. And I thought maybe that was a little bit harsh because, I think Andre Lunin is a top-class goalkeeper. He would have come out fine this particular match. But, that's the nature of the situation, and hence he didn't get the start. It was an interesting start to the match. I thought Slovakia, again, came out very strong. And for you Slovakian fans out there, I think you got to wonder what exactly happened in this match because they were so strong at the beginning, putting a lot of pressure on Ukraine, and then they get the early goal. But then after that, they just dropped off. And unlike the Belgium match, where Belgium didn't really create too many clear-cut chances, in this particular match, there were, and Shaparenko got the equalizer. And then, of course, we got to talk about Yaremchuk's last 10 minutes of the match goal, which was ended up being the winner. So a lot of positives from the Ukraine perspective. But let's finish on Slovakia because I thought Slovakia really ceded control of this match to the Ukrainians, and they allowed the Ukrainians to come more into the match, especially in the second half, where I thought Ukraine was very dominant from after that Shaparenko goal till the end. And that completely changed the trajectory of the match. And it's actually changed the trajectory of the group as a whole as well. Because now Slovakia on 3 points, Ukraine on 3 points. Let's see what happens in the Belgium-Romania match, but everything to play for in the last round of matches in this group. So it's made it very close and tight. Ukraine talked about the Ukrainian spirit after the match, and that was what the team echoed after that. And that's sort of what happened in this match after it looked like they were out and basically heading out of the tournament. And then these two second half goals and a great second half performance really changed the tide of everything now. And now they're going to be looking into the last match. It's against Belgium, fair, but you come out with something from that one, and Ukraine could make it through to the next round despite that horrendous start in the first match to Romania. So this is how quickly in a tournament like this, teams' fortunes can change. Slovakia was riding on, cloud 9 after that match, the first match, and now they have to almost start from the beginning against a very solid Romanian team. So let's see how they play and how they perform. But I think Slovakia will be very disappointed in the second half they played, and Ukraine's got to be jubilant about the second half they played, all finished by the fantastic Yaremchuk goal. So that was the end of the first match. Now let's get into the second match, which was another team that put up a strong second half, is Austria. The first match, I thought Austria came out very strong, but then there was a period of time toward the end of the first half where Poland, after they got the equalizer, they were in the match. And then it was just a back and forth match. And I think, what really changed in the second half was a couple things. I think some of the subs, Pross especially, that came on in the second half, was performed very well. And I think Austria started to gain more and more control of the match in the second half, and that's where they started to dominate the match, I feel, as a whole. And it was a fantastic move by Arnautovic to let the ball run through to Christoph Baumgartner, scoring the goal, and that's how that happened. It's interesting. These two teams, obviously Poland is eliminated now with this result, but I want to say a couple things because these are two teams that, in general, I've been disappointed with at major tournaments. I felt Austria always came in with a bunch of hype, and they've always disappointed, never really lived up to potential. And Poland even more so because Poland's been in more tournaments in recent history, and they have always produced something like this where you see so much potential in some of the individual players, and you'll see moments of play, even in this match, moments of play which were quite brilliant. But it's just very inconsistent. Even Buksa compared first match versus this match, nothing much happening. Lewandowski, I know he's coming off the injury, but didn't really assert himself at all in the match. This is kind of what the Polish team has been like. And I think for you Polish fans out there, I really think it can be frustrating to see the national team continue to do this because, they've been in most major tournaments recently. They just don't seem to be able to do anything in these major tournaments. Aside from that one victory over Switzerland in penalties, it's really got to be frustrating for Polish fans. So that's my takeaway from Poland perspective, and from Austria's perspective. Now they finally put in a performance where they've got a victory. The crowd is obviously well behind them, being in Germany and a neighboring country, but now they have to take the next step to qualify for the next round. Are they going to be able to do it? My guess is no. I just know the trajectory of this Austria team. I have a feeling that the next match against the Netherlands is not going to be what they need, but that's just based on the previous history I've seen from this team. Prove me wrong, Austrian fans out there, because this is your moment now. Okay, let's get into the final match of the day, which, for neutrals out there, of course, is the one that everyone wanted to see. Holland, or the Netherlands, versus France. And it was an atrociously poor match. I'm just going to say it. And the funny thing is this, a lot of times you'll come into major tournaments, and especially for neutrals out there, me and the rest of the team here at ISB, we've been watching football for a while. But for those that come in, you can always tell who's not that well versed in football, because they'll come in and they'll be like, okay, I can't wait for the Netherlands versus France match. It's going to be a fantastic match. And they ignore all the other matches, such as the earlier matches today, and they focus on this particular match. And I can tell you, this was the worst match of the day. And what happens sometimes is when two teams that are, top 10 teams play each other, there's a lot of caginess. You could see in parts of this match, teams didn't really want to go for it. They're reluctant, especially once it starts getting closer to the end, where they both knew that they could both benefit by a draw. You saw everyone just take the foot off the gas and play this, just knock the ball around a little bit, possession for the sake of possession, and nothing really happening. And I think when these two teams play each other, I don't know if it was Netherlands because of the last two meetings they've had with France, how badly they've gotten beaten in both of those. But remember, Kylian Mbappe was not on the pitch today. So it's very strange. Let's start off from a Netherlands perspective. They're such an exciting team, playing a match like they did in the previous match for periods of time. And you saw, the movement against Poland, and the different goals that were scored and all of that. And today they just played scared. And I think they did the same thing against Argentina in the World Cup. And it was funny in the Argentina match, and I'll never forget this. When the match went into extra time, Netherlands was in the ascendancy because they had just scored, and it was 2-2. And at that point in time, they had all the momentum. And then they pulled back completely and just let Argentina dictate the match. And that was very similar to what happened today, because similar situation as they started off strong. You saw some chances by Cody Gakpo and other opportunities at the beginning, Frimpong right off the beginning. And then they just pulled back and let France do whatever they want. Now, let's get to France in a second. They didn't play well either, frankly. Griezmann had a completely off day, missing obvious opportunities to score. Rabiot comes in, should have taken a shot himself, tried to pass to Griezmann, who then messed up the shot. It was just a comedy of errors across the board on both teams, and both teams really didn't deserve to win the match. Except, and I'll finish with this, the moment in the match, which I am really upset about as a neutral in this match, that should have been a goal by Xavi Simons, should have been allowed. It is one of the weirdest rules that I've seen, that offside is so arbitrary in these situations. So what happened, for those who aren't fully aware, is the Netherlands had a foray into the French box. The ball falls out to Xavi Simons, and he scores. He shoots it way past Magnan in the corner, but Denzel Dumfries was standing next to the goalkeeper, next to Magnan, and he was in an offside position. And technically, they were saying he was blocking the vision of the goalkeeper. Xavi Simons' shot was traveling faster than a bullet train into the corner of the goal. There's no way Mike Magnan would have been able to stop it if he had like 80-inch, arms. It's strange. It's it's a weird decision, and I think it's the wrong decision. And I think these type of arbitrary offside subject call decisions are still so much part of the match and so much part of the game of football that this was what VAR was supposed to eliminate. And the problem is, I think there's a level of common sense that's being discluded, taken out from these situations. Because in this situation, if you're the ref, you have to look at the situation and be like, there's no way Mike Magnon's getting to that play. And really, is Dumfries blocking in any way, blocking the goalkeeper from reacting to that ball? I don't think so. I personally don't think so. I think he was not going to get there. He was going to react late, and there just happened to be Dumfries right there in front of him. And I personally think the Netherlands was robbed. And so I think if you're a Dutch fan, you should feel aggrieved today because I think they deserve to win this match. Chances are both teams are going to get through to the next round, but that's my 2 cents. If you're France, you got to be a lot better than this. I think the first 2 matches, similar to England, I think England was a little bit worse, but similar to England, there's just not, France has just not shown a lot, and they come away with 4 points. So that's the story so far. All right. Now we're reaching the very last group of matches for the second round, which of course will be tomorrow. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. Let's hear your thoughts in the comments about Euros. It's getting exciting. There's going to be a lot of exciting matches coming up. Who's been your favorite team? Did you agree with the offside disallowed decision for the Netherlands? Let me know in the comments, and see you all next time.